Okay, so page 8 of chapter 2, portion. So yesterday we talked about unit rate. So for example, driving 120 kilometers in 2 hours, I can rewrite it like this: 120 kilometers per 2 hours, which when we divide it is the same as 60 kilometers in 1 hour. These are said to be equivalent ratios. Right? So if I gave you this and I said, so how much is it per hour? You knew to divide it and you can rewrite it like this. But sometimes it's not as easy to see. So for example, I could say, so if I drive for 5.5 hours, how far can I travel? So then you can see it's not as easy to see. That's why it's good to rewrite it as two proportion and then solve it mathematically. So in this example, Marcy knows she can run 6 kilometers in 39 minutes. How long will it take her to run a 10-kilometer race if she runs at the same pace throughout? So how you want to set it up is set up a fraction equal another fraction. The key to setting it up is you have to be consistent. If you're running kilometers per hour per minute, right? Kilometers per minute on the left side, you have to make sure you're writing kilometers per minute on the right side as well. That's the number one mistake that people make. Right? You have to be consistent. Kilometers on the top, then kilometers on the top on both sides. So 6 kilometers, 39 minutes. So 10 kilometers, I want to find out how long it's going to take. So that's going to be my x. Right? So you set up a fraction equals fraction. Second step is simply cross multiply. So cross multiply, meaning multiply across like this. So 6 times x is 6x, and then equal 39 times 10 is 390. And then your third step is just to divide. So the number in front of the x, you're going to divide that. That number goes to the bottom. Okay, so it's not 6 divided by 390, but 390 divided by 6. That number goes to the bottom. And when you do that, you get 65. Okay, and 65 what? 65 kilometers, 65 minutes, because your unknown was on the bottom, which is minutes. All right, so I see a few of you looking at your tablet instead of the notes on the screen. Yeah, so let's focus. Peter. Okay, let's focus. Focus. Okay, and the phones. And the phone. Okay, you can charge it, but make sure you're looking at the screen, not your tablet or phones. Okay, so let's put away those phones. Emmy, let's put away the phone. The phone. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's try this one then. So remember the 3 steps: fraction equals fraction, cross multiply, and divide. Those are the 3 steps. So example 2 right here. So you guys are going to help me set this up. For every $10 that Sharon and Joel receive, they donate $1.75 to charity. That's very nice of them. So if together for that month they take in $2,500, how much are they donating to charity? Okay. So if you set it up as the receive over charity, then you have $10 receive over $1.75 charity. So on the right side, 2,500, am I putting it on the top or on the bottom? Vincent? Top, because it's how much I receive. What do I not know? How much I'm donating. So that I'm going to give it an X. Okay. Cross multiply and divide. So 10 times X, 10X. 175 times 2,500, you get this. Okay. So I did my second step. What's my last step? Shakai, what's my third step? These are my 3 steps. Fraction equals fraction, cross multiply, and then divide. So after I cross multiply, what should I do? Divide. That's it. Right? Move that 10 to the bottom, divide it, and I get my answer. 437.5. Okay. Is there another way that I could do this question? Yep. Right. Because remember, these are equivalent ratios. If you can see the direct relation between 10 and 2500, you can just times it by 250. And if you times it by 250, you'll also get this answer. Because remember, this equal sign tells you that they are equal. So what you do to the left, do it to the right, it's the same. So you could have this to this to this, or this to this to this. It's all the same ratio. I can even rewrite it and put the 175 on the top and 10 on the bottom. I just have to make sure on this side I also have x on the top then and 2,500 on the bottom. Okay, sounds good? Okay, pretty straightforward with the 3 steps, 1, 2, and 3. I always like this method because if it's not as easy to see, for example, like this one right here, where the ratio is not as easy to see, this method doesn't fail. Okay, it will always work. Okay, so let's try this example 3. So example 3 kind of reiterate what we did for the last few days. Only 24% of the students remember to bring in their loonie for charity. If there are 850 students in the school, how many forgot to bring in their money? Okay, so I want to do 24%. 24% of 850. All right, so from your homework on Monday, from your homework on Monday, we did this. Okay, what do I have to do with that 24%? Hannah? Hannah? Yeah, yeah. Change to decimal. So which is 0.24. Off means, what does off mean? Yep, times, right? So 0.24 times 850, and you get 204. Is that my final answer? 204 students? Vincent, why not? Sorry? What is the question asking? How how many Genevieve? Like the 204 is the amount of people that brought their money and times who didn't. Right. Read the question carefully. It's asking how many forgot. So if 204 remembered, that means 646 students forgot. You have to subtract it, which is sad. Okay. What's another way I could do this? Just like with the discount question. Right. Okay. So if 24% of the student remember, that means 76% of the students forgot. So you could have simply just said 0.76 times 850. You would also get this answer. All right. So for a question like this on the test, do you have to show your work? No, because it's just a one-step answer. That's why your next test is going to be on the computer. This could be like a short answer question or a multiple choice question. Okay. Now, discussion question. Okay, so if you buy a stock that's worth $100, how many of you think you'll invest in the stock market in the future? Good for you. Okay. Can you lose money in the stock market though? Oh yeah. Okay, it's not a guaranteed thing. So make sure it's almost like gambling, but the educated way of gambling. So if you're gonna invest in the future, I do encourage you guys to grow your money. But remember, stock market, you can lose money as well. Okay, it's not a guaranteed win. So if I buy a stock that's $100, tomorrow it goes down 10%. So sad. But then the next day, it goes back up 10%. Does that mean nothing happened and you're still at 100? So how many of you say yes, nothing happened, I'm back to 100? Phew, I just got a heart attack, but it's all good. Okay, how many of you say no, it's not at 100? Good job. Okay, nice. So maybe you guys are ready for the stock market. Okay, why not? So, Eric, I think I saw your hand up first.
Because 10% of 100 is not 10% of nothing.
Okay, good. So if I were to do the math, if I were to show my work for this, 10% drop, I'm dropping 10%, which is like the discount. So I'm doing a 0.9 times 100, which is $90. All right. But then going up 10%, what am I timesing? 1.1. And then when you do the 1.1 times 90, you get $99. So after those 2 days, what happened? You lost $1. It might not seem like a lot, but imagine you're not investing 100, you're investing 10,000. That's $100 right there. Right? And then if you invest like 100,000, that's $1,000 difference, just like that. Right? So keep in mind this logic. Okay, that's why it's not the same when it's drop 10s and goes back up by 10. What about this one? Okay, the sale price of a new stove was $675. So that's the sale price after a 18% discount. Okay, what was the original price of the stove? So this time the difference is I tell you the sale price and I tell you what the discount was. I want to figure out what the original was. So I'm telling you, like I've taught this course like so many times, people do the 675 times 1.18 to get back to the original. Okay, can I do that? Just times this by 1.18. How many of you say yes, just times it by 1.18? How many of you say no, you can't do that? Okay, now I see half the class that are not sure. And it's actually the same reason as this. Exact same reason. So with this discussion, I saw all of you had your hand up saying that no is not the same. This is the exact same reason why it's not the same. Okay, so how can I solve it? Derek, you want to explain how to solve this one?
I did a long way.
Okay, doesn't matter. I like the long way.
I divided by you get 1%, multiply that by 18, and add it to the original one, and added it to 75.
Okay, you can do that. Another method? Yeah.
So what I did, this 175 is 82 over 100, so I multiplied both sides by 182. And that got 823 and 7 over 41. That's the original price.
Okay. Is there an easier method? Anybody have an easier way? Okay, so if it's an 18% discount, how much are you paying? Yeah, 82, right? So you're paying 82% of the original price. So if I do 82% of the original to give me 675, I can set it up the same way. 0.82 times P equals 675. Okay. Now, just like how we did with the 3 steps, fraction equals fraction, cross multiply, this is like the third step. What's our third step again? Shakai, what's our third step again? Divide, right? So I just have to divide that. Okay. So instead of timesing 1.18, you're actually dividing by 0.82. And that will give you your answer. Okay. just to show you on the calculator, if you just did 675 times 1.18, you would have got 796, which was way off. Okay. So with that stock question where it was just a $1 difference, you can see with this one, with that 18%, it's way off. So instead of timesing for that, you're actually dividing by the amount. Okay. These type of questions, people do get confused, but after a few practice, you'll start to understand the idea. Okay. So that's the lesson today. You can see it's only 16 minutes. I will upload this video on YouTube if you need another refresher. So your homework tonight is page 10 to 13. Okay. Number 1 right here is just asking if these are equivalent ratios. So if you reduce this or multiply this on both sides, are they equivalent, true or false? These are the ones where you have to actually solve for n. Okay. And then there's some word problems on the back. This one, sorry, the photocopy doesn't look very good. This was an old EQAO question. So do make sure you try this one on page 12. And yeah, and then up to a ratio. Tomorrow we're gonna do the coding, and then after the small coding lesson, you can see on Friday is gonna be the review. Okay, so that's the plan for the next few days. Homework again is page 10 to 13. And it's not a lot. A lot of these are like 1-step, 2-step answers. Okay, any questions? Yep. Very soon.